behalf of United and our ground crew here in San Francisco, I would like to thank you for choosing United.
Jerry Fishy Pum Pum was a hard-working wage slave from the chilly, cold state of Mexico, Florida. And he worked at a construction agency by the name of Brother Cockled and Barney and Friends. And he worked 26-hour shifts for 6 days a week. And his family never saw him. And his dog, because of him not feeding the dog, but for one time a week, died. So malevolent. And everything was awesome in Jerry Fishy Pussy's life until one day, all the work caused Jerry to go into a depression. And Jerry decided he wants a vacation. And after 7 years of asking his dictator boss for a vacation, his slave master boss, finally let him have a few days off. And Jerry booked a flight to, of all places, one of the worst states in America. The stinky, rotten, glizzy, Timberland, shoe bottom, rat infested, poop infested, homeless, hobo, and dirty cock infested state of New York. And Jerry Fishy Punani went into the plane. And as he entered and proceeded in that order into his plane, his eyes looked at the disgusting, dirty, hard as a rock, cheap ass Spirit Airline seats. And he looked for the seat on his ticket. And to his surprise, his seat was luckily a window seat. And Jeffrey sat down and got cozy with himself. And he exhaled a big breath of happiness. And a little poor teardrop came from his baggy, raccoon, darkened, circled eyes. And it was because he was so happy to finally have a taste of freedom. Free at last. Thank God Almighty. I'm free at last. Temporarily. Until after the vacation, and you have to go right back slavery. As the flight descended into the atmospherical, Pythagorean, ethereal, aerial, magnetic field air, Jerry looked out into the blue waffle skies, and he saw his city of China disappear in the distance. And he smiled so gaily. And everything was awesome until he heard the big, large feet of a giant. Fee, fi, fo, fum. It was a large 700-pound life gold McDonald's Prime member. And he was accompanied by a flight attendant. And the fake robotic Karen hairstyled woman said, unfortunately, can we ask that you give your seat to this big, beautiful man? Hell no! I pay good money for this goddamn ticket and this seat. I ain't getting up and going nowhere. Like Rosa Parks. Yeah, your broke ass didn't even pay for an assigned seat. So stop capping, that ass, son. Well, I don't give a fuck. I ain't getting up. It's my First Amendment or Seventh Amendment right not to get up. I know my rights. Bitch. Security, said the Karenesque woman. And As soon as she said that, a large Afro-American strong brother air marshal man pulled up to the area. And he said, boy, if you don't get your scrawny bitch ass up. And in that order, on period, no lip, no ands, and no butts, and no cocks, the boy sprang up out of his seat and let the giant man sit in the window seat. And as the giant man scooted in between those tight seats, the seats spread apart like the Jordan River dividing the land. And as he was scooting down, the man said, thanks, man, for moving. I'm sorry they made you move seats. I'm so sorry, man. And Jerry said, shut your fat ass up. And the fat man said, I might be fat, but I ain't ugly. I can lose weight. You can't change, ugly bitch. And Jerry said, touche, you got me there, you fat ass bitch. And the two strangers never spoke again for the rest of the flight. As the long 2-hour flight from Chicago to Mexico to New York went on, Jerry passed out from exhaustion because of his hard-working job and hard-working life that he had. And as he was sleeping, his hand was barely holding up his head on the armrest on which his elbow lieth. And it was on the aisle armrest of the seat. And something eerily, something queerly, something benevolently happened. Turbulent Corona, New York stinky sewer smelling air blew through the plane, and it shook the plane, and Jerry fell out of his seat. And because Jerry was so tired from his low-paying slave job, he didn't even wake up from the impact of the floor hitting his face. And at the same time of that turbulent malevolence, the flight attendants were serving out overpriced snackies, like peanuts and shit, like the customers in the airplane were at a fucking circus or some shit. And the cart that stored all that food slipped out of the greasy cocoa butter hands of the flight attendant, and the gravity from the turbulent movement of the airplane pushed the cart 1,150,000 miles per hour, and the cart went barreling towards Jerry's head, and it weighed 1,000 pounds. And when it hit Jerry's head upon impact, it flattened Jerry's head like a Haitian plantain, and his head oozed and squirted brains and whopping juices everywhere, and Jerry's eyeballs went out of his skull in opposite directions like the actress Amanda Seyfried's eyes did before her surgery. And through the pain, Jerry woke up for a Calvin Klein brief moment, and he made a blood-curdling yelp. And everyone on the plane heard the splat squirting macaroni in the pot whoppy noise of his head smashing like a smash bro. And they all looked and freaked the fuck out, and they all screamed in a unison, oh my gosh, you need to leave. Oh my god. Ellos míos consuela. Oh, consumayo. Oh my gosh, what is the hell is going on? And they all ran to the front portion of the plane, and the evil malevolent cart that rolled over Jerry's head was already in the front of the plane. And On top of that weight that was there, the 700-pound fee-fi-fo giant was there too. And also, on top of that, the big booty flight attendant was there as well. And the weight of all those bitches tipped the plane. And the plane, from all those fat-ass Americans with all their glizzies and burgers and Chick-fil-A sandwiches in their bodies, made the plane nosedive. And it nosedived into a very ironic GPS coordination. And that coordination was Jerry's CEO of his company's $55 million home. And as the plane got closer and closer to the CEO's home, the CEO was home eating a lobster dinner on his balcony. And as he saw the plane coming to him, he realized there was no way out. And the plane, barreling at 5 billion light years an hour, flew towards the CEO. And as the plane was coming, a split second of life flashed before the evil slave master's eyes. And it was a flashback of him overworking his workers and underpaying them and scamming their asses and having them clean his dirty Yeezy sneakers. And after that flash went before his eyes, like a flashbang in Call of Duty, a little rich, golden-plated teardrop fell from his eyes onto his heated marble floor. And the plane, upon impact, exploded! And the metal and strap from the plane shish kebab and filleted and engulfed of Mexico'd his ass, and his head bone rearranged to his cock bone, and he gave himself a self-fellatio kiss on the bald testicle sack. And all the people in the plane juiced and squirted Hawaiian Kool-Aid punch juice everywhere, and all of them died. And the 700-pound life man, and the 700-pound life man died last. And chocolate milk, cake batter, lemon pepper, zesty chicken wings, glizzy sun, Little Debbie snackies, honey bun, ice cream, and churros exploded out of him like he was a human piñata. And all the poor ass New York kids saw all that food raining out of the heavens, and the kids danced in the man's guappy sweet guts, and they ate the sweet juices of the man. And then the kids caught fatitis and they died, and nothing, I mean nothing, was ever the same in that small little dirty, dusty, stank-ass, rat-infested city ever again. If you made it through that whole video, hopefully you leave a thumbs up and you liked it, and if you did like it, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.